coming up are the behaviors that you are doing that is making people dislike you. My name's Anna, stay tuned. You share too much about yourself and much too soon. If you meet someone for the very first time and by the end of that conversation, they know what triggers you, what year it was when you had a mental breakdown, they know that you are recently divorced and you really hate it, and they know that you really hate the job that you currently work at, well, it means you ooze insecurity and vulnerability and quite literally make people's noses turn up at you. You ask way too many questions. People that are shy and anxious will try to always divert any attention from themselves to the other person by asking them questions and asking questions about questions of pretty much everything. But with that being said, it sounds pretty harmless. I totally get that, but really, it means you are not adding much to the conversation, you are just passing that beacon of conversation off to somebody else. And it makes you come across quite cold, and people will think, well, they really aren't interested, why would I want to hang out with them? You hide your emotions. We all seek relationships with people who are able to reciprocate what they put in. So if you come across closed off and you are hiding your emotions, people are much less likely to like you as they feel they wouldn't benefit from any social support or closeness from the relationship with you. You do not show any interest in the other person talking. Now, we know already that asking too many questions comes across pretty cold and dismissive, and obviously not asking enough questions can also create the exact same thing. So you, my friend, want to find that sweet spot in the middle, which is enough to make the other person involved feel like you have a genuine interest in them by actively listening, by these verbal nods and saying and encouraging them to explain more. You do not smile enough. Smiling makes you look much more inviting and friendly, and it's an easy thing to do. If you happen to be the type of person that rarely smiles or even laughs, then you come across as pretty cold and hard to figure out. A smile is super easy, so start doing it. Posting too many selfies or up-close photos. Get this, in 2013, researchers at Birmingham Business School suggested that posting too many photos on Facebook can hurt your real-life relationships. And when it comes to those actual photos, if people cannot see your neck because you are just too close to the camera shot, kind of like this, weirdly, that makes people actually dislike you. So research suggests that images of faces taken 45 centimeters away are less trustworthy and far less attractive. You impress others with your humble bragging. An example of humble bragging is this. During a job interview situation, you are asked, what are your weakest points? And if you answer by saying, well, I am a perfectionist, and I work too hard, this is humble bragging and it just doesn't work. You send way too many emojis, from text speak with your friends, and even sending that very innocent smiley face in a business email. If you do this, you come across far less competent as someone else that doesn't use emojis. Now, when it comes to talking with your friends, it kind of shows you are a very surface level person. The more emojis you use, that's just a thing that's out there on the internet. That doesn't mean that's been suggested by researchers. It's just a common trait that people have noticed. So if you really are emoji friendly, maybe scale it back ever so lightly and you might get a lot more replies. You are much too nice. Yes, I said that, and it feels kind of weird to say that, but it makes total sense. There will be someone that you know or you have known where you just think, oh, they are just so nice, like, oh, they irritate me. These are the types of people that constantly go out of their way to please everyone. They're the types of people that just come across really annoying and irritating after a while, and that novelty of them being amazing really does wear off. So if you find yourself that this is you, then I need you to just sometimes lower the energy and just be pretty normal. Don't be that person that was always busy and, hey, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, it's an amazing day. Try and calm that energy down, and I promise you, people will like you much more. You do not have your own opinion, or if you do, you are quick to shut it down. I will start off with an example. There is a famous radio podcast where someone says, "What do you think is the scariest animal in the world?" And the presenter says, "I think it is a tiger." Now the other presenter says, "You know what? I think it could actually be a shark because they are pretty scary." Now the original presenter changes his mind and says, "You know what? No, I agree with you. You definitely are right." Now this sounds very harmless, but let's kind of strip away the knowledge here and look at it from a psychological aspect. If someone asks you a question for your opinion, your value, it's just a very friendly conversation. It's not like a political stand forth type of thing. It's literally just, "So what do you think of this?" And if you do not remain comfortable with your decision and you have to change it to make the other person feel like you are on the same level with them, then you come across as slightly weaker minded and people will begin to dislike you. Now, if you are the type of person that when you talk, you just always agree to what people say, just maybe to keep the peace, maybe it feels easier, or just you don't want any ruckus in conversations, what this actually does is make people feel that you do not have your own backbone. Now, let's look at this from a relationship standpoint and not in the romantic type. If you have a friend which always just seems to be very blasé and just agrees with everything you say, you think, well, it's not really a conversation, it's just me having someone repeat what I'm saying and saying that I'm good. It's the equivalent of just a friend that just likes every single one of your Facebook posts without leaving comments. There's just no substance there at all.